I didn't want to have to make this video, except the reason I have to make the video is that, like, the whole world is falling apart, apparently, so obviously I wouldn't have wanted to make this video. I was just hoping to sort of avoid this type of scenario happening again so soon. We're at the desk, the couch is over there in the background, and if you have been a long-time subscriber of mine, you know that the couch means this video is about serious business. We need to have a little bit of a conversation. Let me preempt this by saying that I don't want you to worry about me too much. I'll be fine, probably, like, I'll be as fine as anyone is going to be, I reckon. Worry a bit, maybe, but don't go crazy about it. Don't stay up awake at night. It's my problem. It shouldn't be yours. You have your own life to deal with. It is, however, one of those times where I need to remember that I'm doing sort of like it's a business that I'm running here, in a way, even though it's like fully a one-man operation. And as much as I would like to just be able to make content that people want to see, and not have to bother with all this money stuff, rent is due every month, and I also then still need to buy groceries. I have been immensely blessed to be able to do this basically full-time-ish for a few years now, and I am determined to keep it that way. I'm not joking when I say that that has saved my life. However, depending on how things go, that may prove rather difficult. The financial welfare of this channel depends on 3 factors. First is YouTube ad revenue, then we have like the just financial stability, the sort of financial welfare of regular average people, mainly of the American variety, and the stability of the US dollar as a currency. Because of the whole Donald Trump annihilating the US economy for no particular reason situation, 2 of these are in dire straits, and I have no idea what the effects will be on the 3rd one. Nor do I want to, because though YouTube ad rev has recently been treating me quite well, it's notoriously unreliable. There's a reason why every creator has a Patreon. Last time this happened, during the pandemic, I lost basically like 2/3 of my Patreon money over the course of a year, and I still haven't recovered from it. I'm barely at half of where I was in 2019. Not even that, if you like account for the various other factors that have changed since then. But to be fair, I was punching just insanely above my weight on Patreon in 2019. In a very dark moment of my life, there was a huge outpouring of generosity and support. So I was never really too concerned about that. Because I've been doing rather well because of it, so it wasn't really, I understood losing a chunk of it over time, especially in like an economic crisis that was essentially unprecedented in our lifetime. Which is saying something, because like the competition is steep, right? I guess an economist would still call me poor, and someone who's like always in dire straits of drifting back into like even worse than that. But I've never been in a situation where I didn't have to live from paycheck to paycheck ever before. Like, I've never not been extremely poor until very recently. So not having to worry about every grocery purchase and even being able to afford the occasional luxury has been a huge, like, game changer for me. I have moderate financial reserves even. I can weather a minor storm. This doesn't look like it's gonna be a minor storm. Again, none of that is anything like, the amount of money that I have is not anything a real person would be impressed by. I'm certainly impressed by it. I feel rich is basically what I'm trying to say, even though it's absolutely not the case in any reasonable way. And I have to listen to my brain on this, because it's all at risk of falling apart, and it kind of has been very slowly with how things have been shaping up. Like, this isn't something that happened completely out of the blue. I frequently get messages from people, especially Americans, going, oh yeah, I lost my job, I need to take care of my mum because she has some sort of disease that her insurance won't cover, they just gave me a pay cut for no reason, that kind of thing. And it's good of you to prioritize your financial situation. It's good of you to do that, especially in these kinds of times. And because I've seen like a big plunge of that before, I'm seeing the portents right now, I'm taking steps before anything worse happens. Being proactive with my finances. In practice, this means some changes to my Patreon. The first change, which should already have gone live by the time this video airs, is that I'm switching the default currency of my account, in particular, from dollars to euros. Basically on Patreon, you can pay with whatever currency you personally prefer, but like every Patreon profile has its particular currency that the creator takes. So whatever you pay buy gets converted into that currency. And me changing this means that the $1 tier now no longer costs $1, but €1. The $5 tier now costs €5, and so on and so forth. For you, this means that the Patreon gets more expensive. The dollar has been slightly weaker than the euro for a long time, so people paying in euros had kind of a conversion advantage. Many other currencies as well. It was dollars before because dealing in dollars is clever. It's like the world reserve currency, right? I need to cater to American patrons to a certain extent. It made financial sense to go with the currency that had like very good exchange rates. That's no longer the case. It's no longer true. I have no idea where the dollar is going. No one really does, and I need to secure my financial future somehow. I became like 30 this year. I'm having to plan a little longer term. I'm having to begin to think about things on a larger time frame than I did in my 20s. There's some additional monthly payments with insurance that I now have to make as well. I can't tie myself to the dollar for it. I know it's ridiculous. Nobody dreamed of this even 10 years ago, but here we are. The second change is to the tiers on my Patreon. Basically, I've had the $1 tier that gives you like a username color on my Discord. You have the $5 tier that would make your name appear in the end of the video. $10 tier that would give you a different color on Discord and a different rank that was above the other one, though some people have argued that the color is not the better of the two. The $20 tier would give you access to joining my weekly live stream, Fast Food Thursday, as a guest. It's currently on Tuesday. Most people who have that tier don't even show up. They would just support me that way, and I really appreciate that. And there's the $50 tier, which gives the additional incentive of have like a custom color and rank on the Discord server. The only change coming to existing tiers is that I'm going to be lapsing the benefits of the €50 tier after a certain time frame. Thus far, you'd basically keep them forever, no matter how long you'd been a $50 patron or a patron at all. And they do give you access to certain Patreon restricted features, so I don't feel like it's super fair to other patrons. Basically, if you have a custom rank and username, you will keep it if you continue to be a patron of any tier. So you don't need to remain a $50 patron for it. Any tier will do in order to retain that particular benefit once you've acquired it. Everything else with the existing tiers stays as is, but again, even though my pricing isn't changing for the tiers, they will be like cents or dollars or whatever like your currency units are more expensive than they used to be because of the relative strength of the euro. I am, however, also adding a new tier. That's the €3 tier, which will give you access to exclusive content. And obviously tiers above also get that content. This will be, first and foremost, perhaps only exclusively watch-along videos. I'll watch like shows and films with certain people and we'll talk over them annoyingly, Mystery Science Theater style, except we do also have a pause button. There's currently nothing on there. I'm gonna be honest with you on that, but it is in the pan. My boyfriend and I are watching the Vampire the Masquerade TV show, which is a real thing that actually exists. So there's not a huge catalog right now. I'm planning on releasing at least one of these every month. If it's a film, if it's like a show, the episodes are shorter. Obviously, I'm going to be doing multiple of them a month. If you're willing to spend the equivalent of like this, like a packet of pre-sliced cheese on me a month, I promise I will do right by you. I've kind of wanted to do something like this for a while. The thing is just that doing it on an ad rev basis is a bit risky. It's wasted work most of the time. So if you are interested in that sort of thing, please do join my Patreon. It's linked below in the description. I would prefer, if at all possible, to keep doing this the way I am. If you cannot shoulder the like increased prices because of the currency change, or like maintain your current contribution because the world is a fuck right now, do not hesitate to lower it or cancel it altogether. Don't feel ashamed for it. I appreciate your support. I hope your situation improves soon, but it isn't your job. Don't bankrupt yourself on my account. I also have a PayPal if you don't want to take up a monthly patronage, but just want to send some money my way. It's right underneath the Patreon in the description. If you haven't done so already, it would be lovely if you could purchase my novel, Harm's Place. That would be fantastic. It's sold very well. Much better than I had hoped for. And look, it may look this is like off center here. That's because this particular copy, which is the very first copy ever printed, has a it had a problem with the machine. Usually this is centered and it looks proper. But yeah, it's not like bringing in the huge bucks. It's not a New York Times bestseller or anything near the sort. It's something that I wanted to do, and I've broken even on it now, which is I didn't expect either. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm staring at the abyss, and I'm not sure whether I'm gonna fall into it. I'm sure many of your favorite YouTubers are in a similar situation. We rely on this sort of income to make the content that you love. So if I'm not the guy you'd support, maybe someone else is, so go help them out instead. I would very much appreciate it if you could support me on my Patreon. I really would. Do it if you can afford it. Quick additional thing, for a long time now, I haven't taken any sponsorships, and I will continue that policy. On one hand, it feels sort of like weird to sell my voice for a product that like chose me instead of it, because like that's how it works, right? The brand reaches out to you because the brand wants like to buy your voice to sell their product, your credibility as a creator. I can't go like, oh, Pius Gabor, I've been loyal to your shoe brand for 15 years and I like it. Give me money. They are good. They are good shoes. But this is not how it works. Oh, this cheese. I don't think they advertise it at all. But it's very good for, like, how cheap it is. I actually eat it every day. I'm not joking. And frankly, like, the thing is, for someone in my subscriber range, there's a huge amount of scammers and bad actors. Especially the marketing firms themselves, they prey on small creators. And dealing with that sort of thing would be time that I have to spend and hassle that I have to get through that I can't use to make content. Not to mention the just amount of YouTuber sponsorship scandals in the past few years has made me very wary. I kind of don't want to run the risk of selling like radioactive cornflakes to an audience that has grown to trust me. I think you shouldn't eat radioactive cornflakes. I mean, far be it from me to tell you what to do, I just wouldn't go out there to recommend that you do it. And I can't like vet every brand that exists to make sure they're not selling radioactive cornflakes. So if you ever do see me like perform a sponsorship, you'll know that it comes from the heart. And it might be about cheese. But yeah, this video is already way too long. Thank you so much for all your support over the years. It's difficult for me to actually express how blessed I feel with having been given this opportunity, essentially, coming from nothing. Some of you perhaps don't know, but like, I really do come from like nothing. I grew up in a boys' home for my teenage years. I have, like, almost nothing in the way of a family support system, and I never did. I do have my abuela, who is very generous, but she is not exactly wealthy either. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to take money from her if I can avoid it. Not that I can avoid it. She just gives it sometimes, and I can't say anything against it. I love her. I really do. But at the end of the day, it's you folks who have enabled me to do this, like, ridiculous career that everyone wants to do and that I somehow willed my way into. And any way to actually put that into words would fail to encapsulate how I feel about it, so I won't do it. Next video is in the works, by the way, it always is. I'm just sort of, I really need to fine-tune my words on the script. It's taking its time a little bit. I want to be very clear with what I say. You'll see probably the vampire thing long before you see well, not long before you see, shortly before you see the new video. And see you around, folks.